Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It's Monday the 2nd of October. I'm Nigel Croft. In this short video we'll be looking at the charts on Palladium. What we'll see is that at the start of September Palladium went up to 1,000. However, it was overbought when it got there and it suffered from the big number syndrome and has drifted off. We're coming back to the support of the moving averages, but this market needs upside momentum to break resistance levels. Let's look at those charts. So here we have the weekly, so each candle represents 1 week's trade. And you can see that the first week of September we moved up to 1,000. It was overbought even on this weekly measure, and we've since drifted off. However, you can see that we remain in the uptrend. We're perhaps midway in the uptrend, which is good. The lower boundary is probably just below the 20-week moving average. That's down at 890. Momentum, we've still got upside momentum. The RSI on this weekly is at 62.26, and but the short-term, MACD has moved below the longer term. So it is a sign that we are slightly losing momentum, and likewise, even though the RSI is above 50, it is going into a downtrend, so be aware of that. Moving on to the weekly, and you can see that as I said, on the 4th of September when we reached 1,000, the RSI was at that time 73 and was overbought. Did show good positive momentum. The momentum now has been lost. We fell through the support of the 20-day moving average, but we did find good support from the 50-day, and in fact we've now today are trading back above the 20. So we found support from the moving average, which was very good. Momentum is neutral. We're at 53 on the RSI, and the MACD are virtually down at 0. And the short term is actually above the longer term, just gone back above, but they're virtually flat at 0. On this daily, you can see that there is resistance, which I'll show you on the slide later, around about the 960, and then of course the big number syndrome at 1,000. Looking at this, if the support can hold of the moving averages, especially the 50, you will see that 20 turn round, and perhaps in a week or two we would then build up some momentum and actually try and test those resistance levels. To the downside, I wouldn't become worried on the downside until the 50 breaks, if that occurs, which I don't actually expect, and then below there the next support is around about the 880. On the 4-hour chart, so here each candle represents 4 hours of trading. You can see we're actually finding support from the longer term 200 average. That's the 200 4-hour average. That's giving support, which is good. That's moving up. You can also see the 20s below there moving up quite strongly now, and the 50s also moving up. So some positive signs here, but you can see these previous resistance levels. In fact, we're very close to one now, up to the 940, which you could say was the cap last week on Thursday, Friday. So let's see if that can get broken initially. Momentum on this 4-hour chart in a downtrend on the RSI, so a slight concern, but it is above 50. 60.82, and the MACD are short term is actually below the longer term, and they're flat, they're flat lining at the moment. On the support and resistance levels, resistance from the high of 12th of September 958.87, and then the big number, well, the high of 4th of September was 1001.78 with supports from the moving averages. I've highlighted the 50 from the 4 hour, which is 922.41, and then the 50 day, which is 919.86. So that's been TA for traders, having a look at Palladium. Overall, I would say it's not that bad. It's finding support moving averages, a bit of resistance to the upside. That needs to get broken before we can test that 1000 level again. Here's a slide giving the key takeaways. We did have big number failure at that 1000. As I said, momentum's needed. There's that 960 initial resistance, but it's got support from the moving averages. Many thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it of interest. Please remember, these videos are my opinion and they're for educational purposes and they're not an investment recommendation.